cannot bear it anymore. All they are demanding is an end to corruption, abuses, and deaths perpetrated by the government itself. Because it is the state that murders its citizens. It is the state that takes away the right to public health, makes food more expensive, and put more taxes on the working class in the midst of the pandemic crisis. Álvaro Uribe, the ex-president who has a lawsuit for the murder of more than 6,500 innocent peasants and indigenous people, not only he is not in jail, nor is any of his entourage, but he is still ruling the country. He made the victims pass as guerrillas killed in combat and is in addition responsible for countless murders of activists and social leaders. Years of slaughtering and illegal expropriation to benefit the landowners at the presidency and their paramilitary army. They have looted the country, eliminated the middle class, as well as public education, the right to health and to a decent life. They plunged my country into violence, misery and unemployment. Now, to take on the current health crisis, the presidency has incurred debts. The people who never received the aid will have to pay those debts, accepting the taxes that are imposed on basic survival products, because according to the president, drinking coffee is a luxury and should be taxed. So it is with great indignation and pain that my country has risen up in peaceful protest since April 28. The response of the presidency, the police and the armed forces have received the order to kill civilians to dispel the protests throughout the country. Colombia is in hands of an ignorant, unhuman and corrupt elite who, in order to stay in power, are willing to kill as many civilians as necessary. Colombia is a country where fighting for your rights is a death sentence. Right now, people is being deprived of their fundamental right to peaceful protest. They are silenced and censored. They are shot at night when they are unprepared and not even participating in protests. The state cuts the electricity and the internet in various areas of the country so that people cannot make known the abuses of authority they suffer. The police and public forces have been ordered to shoot in cold blood against their compatriots, and those who refuse to comply the orders are removed from their positions, killed, and their families threatened. Then only the police and the military are prosecuted and imprisoned for the deaths, rather than the state. So hatred and death continue unabated. To justify the use of violence, the police itself hires infiltrators to commit vandalism during protests, and in this way endorse their violent invasion in the neighborhoods. The police and the public forces go to the streets without identification numbers to assassinate civilians by order of the government. They shot judges and families in heads and eyes, rape women in the street, and commit all kinds of human rights violations. There are not limits or justice, because it was ordered by the mafia that governs my country. But the problem is bigger than this. Colombia is a very important geographical point between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans that plays a fundamental role in international trade. It is a country abundant in natural resources that also has part of the Amazon, which is the main source of green energy. In addition, it is the country that allows the very lucrative drug business to be carried out in its territory. So there is a great conflict of interest between various powers in the world that go beyond an incompetent and corrupt government that sells the country to the highest bidder. Different parties of the conflict continue to promote war, misinformation, and extreme violence in order to lead the country to a military regime to then be conquered and invaded, as it happens to all of the underdeveloped countries in the world. So there is something that can be done to help Colombia or similar realities? I think so. Let's not forget that consumption is a political act. Do you know that the cocaine business is one of the main reasons why Colombia has been bleeding for so many years? How about we stop consuming that garbage and screw up the business that has Latin America sunk in misery? This will be a useful form of protest. Also, I would like to make a call to United Nations, to musicians, to artists, technology developers, social leaders, Colombians living abroad, and people of any nationality to share ideas for development of social projects. Through education, the development of apps, creative technologies, we can implement uncensored information networks that protect individuals, assist them, and that give them opportunities to people who live in difficult social contexts where there are not options to leave poverty, because only us can protect our communities from their tyranny. A mis compatriotas en Colombia, no caigan en la trampa de la violencia, no se dejen manipular por intereses ajenos. Recuerden que nuestras mentes son nuestra arma de lucha más grande. Unidos, resistiendo en la causa, que la paz nazca en las calles y que nadie la pueda silenciar. Gracias.
Así es, hermanos latinoamericanos. Aquí tenemos nuestros carteles. Por dignidad, un Fujimori nunca más. Keiko no va, Fujimori nunca más. Dice, congresistas, excomandantes de las Fuerzas Armadas Montoya Cueto, coludidos con montesinos. Allá tenemos, con delincuentes no se negocia.